Welcome into the Holton Ahlers Show. The boys are back in studio. Let's go. Back in North Carolina feels good. Hope you enjoy the show. If not, as always.
Holton Ahlers turns, and Holton will take off and run himself. He's at the 40-yard line. Holton Ahlers to the 30. Look at him go. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Pirates.
There's local politics, bud.
It's showtime!
Let's go. ECU baseball took over. It seems like me and Drew were talking about it on the way here. They always, every year right around summertime, it's ECU baseball no matter what, and it captivates the city. And we have JJC here with us. You know, obviously one of the better players, if not the best player on the team. So welcome in, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's go. In studio, too. We've only had one other guys in the studio, so it feels good to be in here with you, dude. So let's just recap on the season. Obviously, it's very fresh. The loss to Evansville in the regional. Just recap the regional in general. You know, how do you think, you played, and how do you think the team played?
Yeah, I'd say Friday night obviously didn't go how we wanted, or Friday we played the day game. We lose to Evansville, and it's kind of a wake-up call. We realized, we're too comfortable. Got our host. We were expecting to host, and then, we're going into Saturday facing one of the best pitchers in the country.
Yeah.
Wake Forest, Chase Burns. And it was do or die. Backs are against the wall. There's nowhere to go, and we knew that if we put together a good plan and be who we were and not try and be anybody else, not try and do too much, or, we were just going to go out there and beat them. We're going to out-team them. That's pretty much how it went.
How does, you guys go in as the 1 seed and you play Evansville, how hard is it not to overlook them with Wake Forest in your regional? Obviously, the opening night game, everyone's already talking about y'all playing in the winner's bracket. How hard is it to not overlook them night one?
Extremely. And that's why, before the regional, all of us pretty much got off social media.
Yeah.
We try and get that out of the way so that this just not, constantly in our face. But, it's hard. Past years, my freshman year we hosted, we won the opening game 17-3. And it's always been like that. The past couple years we've hosted. And it's just we're gonna get this game out of the way, and then we're gonna prep for Saturday. Prep for the winners bracket, and it just about the 6th inning we realized hey, we're in a fight.
You got a battle.
This is real.
Yeah.
This is the field of 64. we gotta go, or we're gonna be playing the early game Saturday, and obviously we weren't able to pull it out.
How's the locker room after a game like that, knowing you, like you just said, you had a quick turnaround versus later on you figured out as Wake Forest, one of the better teams in the nation. What was the locker room like?
There's the bits of silent. Everybody's just kind of, getting showered off, getting ready to go home and prep. But then there's a couple guys step up and say, hey, we prepared for this. This is it. It's now or never.
Yeah.
There's no more guaranteed games in Clark LeClaire. So
Ooh. That's people don't realize that it is. Winning your last game, if y'all won the regional, y'all were probably going to Tennessee. So either way, that last weekend was a lot of guys' last game in the stadium. Yep. But losing the last game is different, and it feeds people. Guys who have extra years decide they want to come back because they want to win more, which we're going to get to with you in a minute, and you can answer it if you want to or not. But it's just a huge deal because of that. And then pictures came out of Carter and Danny sitting out in the field. I remember I lost my senior day at ECU, and walking off the field, you get so caught up in you don't even realize it, but you get caught up in everything around it, and you don't realize it till after when you lose, and you're like, dang, dude, it still somehow got to you because it's hard. It's a small city, and ECU is Greenville. Yeah. So let's get to the question that everyone and their mom was asking was if you will be returning. You don't got to answer it, but
simplest way to put it is my dream since I was a little kid is playing the big leagues.
Yeah.
And the way I have performed, I feel like I've set myself up for an opportunity after this season. And if the draft works out the way I want it to, I'll be signing. And if it doesn't, I'll be back. It's not in my hands anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, let's go. That's the answer, and it's
breaking news on the show right now.
Yeah. So, but that's what's cool about. So it's cool about baseball because you can technically declare and still come back. Is that right?
You don't have to declare at all.
You don't have to.
You have to fill out a drug test.
Yeah, and
that's about it.
Dang.
So
you can see how the draft goes.
You can get drafted and wait a month to sign.
And still come back.
Still come back if I don't want to sign. Yeah.
Could you imagine that in football? That'd be nice.
I mean, there's
Yeah, so
you gotta think
different.
there's like 20 rounds.
There's
like
hella
hundreds of
rounds.
picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Do you have a round where like you're like this is where, or is it more of a money standpoint, or just feeling, or kind of everything?
A little bit of everything mixed
Yeah.
in. It's still early. I mean, it's really not really early, but I mean, there's still a month and a couple days
Yeah.
before the draft. Like, I won't really know anything until a couple days before.
Yeah. And that's what I was telling Drew on the way here. I mean, I know a little bit. I mean, I know baseball, grew up playing it, but like the draft process, like one of the reasons I'm sure, and what I've learned from, I'm really close to Bryant Packard. We played high school ball together. Is like your leverage years this year really with the draft process. And am I right in that? That if you came back next year, like you wouldn't have as much leverage with it because they knew you would have to go.
Yeah, basically how it works after your senior year is they can draft you or offer you X amount of dollars and say, take this or your career's over.
Yeah.
Like, there's no leverage.
Yeah, that's like literally how I was. So I went undrafted. So in the NFL, there's 7 rounds, and I went undrafted. But it's like there's guys that go undrafted and play like the next year in the NFL. And I was out of college eligibility. So like guys that had same situation were getting offered a ton of money, and the Seahawks were like, I'll offer you $1,000. And like other teams were offering a lot, but like not a good situation. And Seattle was like, we know we have the best situation. We'll give you $1,000. You just come here and win the job. And I'm like, I guess I gotta do this. So yeah, man, what is it like seeing like Norby and Gavin and all those guys make it?
Yeah, they. I was never teammates with them, but they were here this summer after that season when all the incoming freshmen came in. So, I started to build a relationship with those guys. But man, it's awesome to see just how the work they put in here just translates. Like Norby and I work out at the same place back home.
Okay.
So I built a relationship with him, and I mean, he really deserves it, man.
Yeah. No, he off to a good start, man. He didn't want to pull a Jackson Holiday. Jackson Holiday, have you met him at all?
I haven't, but
rough start.
Yeah, that happens to the best of us, man.
Yeah, that's how it is, dude. Baseball is a weird sport because a lot of it's your head mentally, especially hitting and stuff. How do you, especially during season, like how do you battle? Do you meditate, or is there any off the field things you do that help you with the mental side of the game?
Yeah, I have a highlight video.
Okay.
Like our director of player development, Heath Blackman, he'll make you a highlight video. So if I'm like having a bad day, I'm like,
gotta click on that.
This.
Remind you of your dog.
Remind me of who I am. You know, stuff
That's
like
fresh.
That. And then but my faith is a big thing too.
Yeah.
I know that my identity is not in baseball.
Absolutely.
And I know that something that really helped me this year. I've grown in my faith a lot just this year.
Yeah.
And got to the point where I said, like, you know what? God knows what's going to happen this game, this at bat. I'm just going to go out and let it fly. And
that's
he'll
when
take care of me.
You play your best when you're free.
No doubt
I mean, you ain't
about
got nothing to worry about. That was like something I didn't notice when I played in college here, and then when you get to the pros where like literally nothing is in. I don't know how baseball is, but like in NFL with football, like nothing is in your control. Like you can just go out there and play, and then like after that, like you can play amazing, but the left tackle can get hurt, and they got to sign a left tackle, so they got to cut you, and you're like, that's not in my hands. I can't do anything about that. So that's good to know that you're like that. I know Carter's huge in his faith.
He's really been one of my mentors too.
Yeah,
he's helped me and just about everybody on the team a lot.
Yeah, he's a great dude. I want to ask about Parker. So he came on the show earlier this year, and just seeing him since he's been here, since everything happened, like. I mean, I was in Texas lifting, and he was on the TV on I don't even know what it was, some news channel. I'm like, dude, what the heck? Like,
it's unbelievable inspiration, man. I mean,
yeah,
those days where you show up to the field and it's a practice day in the middle of the season, and your body's hurting.
You're like,
I really don't want to practice today. And then Parker Byrd is strapping on his sports leg and going out there and busting his butt in practice. I'm like, this guy can do that. I can give it my all in practice today.
Yeah. Do you think he'll get to the point where he'll be able to play again? Is that what he's trying to do still? Last time we talked to him, he was. How was seeing him get in at bat and like actually getting into a game? Like that had to have been insane.
It's actually hilarious. So I hit before him, and it's opening day. We're up, like we're destroying this team, and I walk up to the plate, and the place is going nuts, and I'm like,
let's go.
Thanks. Let's go. And then I like look on Parker's on deck, and I'm like,
he's like, this is my year. The fans love me.
I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. But then I get nailed on the first pitch, and the place goes even more nuts because he's walking.
You're
to the
like,
plate
oh,
now.
thanks guys.
No, but it was an unbelievable moment. And then he drew the walk. Man, the place went nuts.
Oh yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, he's literally took the sports world by storm, and just kind of the person he is. Let's talk about Coach Godwin some. Obviously, one of the all-time greats here at ECU. He's coached a ton of the all-time greats now too. We'll get to you and his relationship here in a few, but like when you were getting recruited by him, how much of it was getting recruited to the fan base, to the culture of ECU, to baseball, and then how much of it was getting recruited to him?
Yeah, actually, I mean, Coach Palumbo was really the guy that did the most of my recruiting process because he's the recruiting coordinator.
Yeah.
So he was, I mean, I was on the phone with Coach P probably once a week for 3 months leading up to when I got offered a scholarship. They were all about building a relationship and making sure I was, the type of player, type of person that they wanted. And then once, I think once they realized, okay, we're gonna really like get into recruiting this guy, I started talking to Coach G a lot. And it wasn't really, they don't really recruit to them. I'd say they definitely recruit the program, like the culture. And then I came to this little camp with like 20 of us, and they sat us out like on the field in these chairs, and they were just talking about the history of the program.
Oh, that's sick.
It was electric. I mean,
cool.
I was actually wearing like Zach Agnos' jersey while I was playing.
Oh, that's cool.
in this camp. So it was really cool, man.
Palumbo has been kind of the guy, dude. Fun fact, so my first offer of any sport was ECU baseball.
Really?
Yeah. So and then I got offered in football, and when Coach Ruff, the previous coach 2 coaches ago, I guess now for football, they wanted me to play both, and then I just kind of eventually took football. Yeah. So I know Palumbo a little bit. A lot of people see him as the next guy here when Coach Godwin, whenever he leaves or retires or whatever. Obviously, he's going to get pursued by a ton of schools. Do you think he's the next guy here if Coach Godwin goes somewhere else?
I think he's got to be.
Yeah.
I don't ever see Coach G leaving, but Coach P is definitely like right up there.
You think he's ready for it though?
I think absolutely. He's one of the best coaches. Baseball knowledge is unbelievable.
It's going to be hard to keep both of them here because I'm sure Palumbo will get offered jobs too if Coach G stays. So like that's a fine line between you got to keep the head coach, but you also got to keep the next guy up too. Because I mean, I don't know how it is as much for baseball, but I know football a lot of times is like the head coach is like the culture guy, and then the assistant coaches are like the details, like more like type guys. It kind of the same with all.
Yeah, Coach P's the infield coach.
Yeah.
Small ball coach. He's specifics to infield, like Austin Knight's specifics to pitching.
Yep.
And then Coach Sheeks kind of oversees,
everything,
runs the offense, stuff like that.
Nice. Drew, what you got anything or any fan questions? I know we had a ton of fan questions.
Yeah, we got a ton of fan questions for you. So the first one is by our guy Kenny. The first thing is he wants to thank you for being a Pirate and a great role model for young kids who follow ECU baseball. How much does it mean to you and your teammates to have such a fantastic fan base?
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Probably the deciding factor was the fan base when I was in my recruiting process.
Wow.
Which is crazy because, I mean, like I had obviously opportunities to play elsewhere, but I'm an adrenaline junkie. I play with emotion, and there's nothing that gets me going more than a packed Clark LeClaire.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, dude, especially college sports, like that's what makes college sports. And absolutely. Why would you not stay close to home, compete for championships every single year? You won it every single conference championship. Y'all won every single year you're here. Why would you not do it? Like as a recruit, if you're a kid from North Carolina, like I mean, obviously there's great North Carolina. It's probably the best college baseball state in the country. But you want to come somewhere with a chip where fans love you, where like you're cherished. Like why would you not come to ECU?
Yeah, it's definitely that was definitely the deciding factor. I just think that it's not a place for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not an individualistic place at all. I mean, as soon as we get here, we're ingrained that we don't matter. Winning matters.
Yeah.
The team matters.
It's culture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's dude, Coach Houston, when he came in, it was brutal the first year. So I had another coach, Coach Mo, the first year I was here, and we were terrible, and the culture was terrible. And then Coach Houston came in, and everyone like hated him at first, literally because of that. Because it was literally like the culture's bigger than you. Like if you're not a part of the culture, then just get out of the way. And that's how it was.
Nobody's
and that's kind of
bigger
what
than the program.
Yeah. And that's how you win. Obviously, ECU football didn't win last year, but NIL, which I want to talk to you about, kind of came into play. In fact, we'll jump into it now because I think we actually had a question, Drew, a fan question, but I'll just ask it. How much does NIL pay into you and like other guys like leaving for the portal, for the draft? Like, is it a huge thing or is it just a plus if you stay?
Yeah, and we don't. I mean, Coach Shee doesn't hand out NIL in the portal or stuff like that. That is never going to happen.
Good.
He does if there are like the 23 club Team Boneyard.
Yep.
If there's some NIL opportunity, it's always the returning guys that get it first.
Good.
Because we have, built the culture year on year. The returners.
Good.
So that's how that works, pretty much.
So, Drew, what do you got? I'll let you.
Well, a lot of these questions are kind of like repeats of just like what would it take for you to stay here. So I'm not gonna flood you with that, but there was a tweet you recently posted about you and this kid. I don't know his name. Jacob Turner. That obviously meant a lot to you. It looked emotional. Just speak on like what that moment meant to you.
Yeah. So I met Jacob a couple weeks ago, and after the Rice series, somebody handed him over the fence to me.
I love it.
He's got your home run ball. Like he wants you to sign and take a picture, and I recognized him when he came up after the loss on Monday, and he literally, I was already in tears with my parents, and he came up and he's like, yeah, his mom's, he just wants a hug, so he hugged me, and then I'm like bawling.
Like, me too. I need one.
I'm crying, and he looks at me and he goes, "Are you coming back next year?"
He was already thinking about it.
And I'm,
dang.
This kid's in kindergarten. Like,
yeah.
How does he know that, man?
That's crazy.
So I start crying. I'm like, I don't know, buddy.
Yeah.
And then he starts crying, and it's just what Pirate Nation is.
Yeah.
Man. The community, the love and the relationships that you build, and the influence that athletes have on the community without even knowing it.
Yeah, that is that's literally Pirate Nation though. Especially like kids around this area, baseball, I feel like if you want to really get to know guys, like football, you have a helmet on, you have pads on, the stands are high up. Like baseball, you're up close and personal. You see there's 3 games a weekend. Like you really get to see these people.
Yeah, over
and
over.
You guys do a great job of being in the community and seeing people. Drew, anything else? What did the teammate ask? One of the teammate asked like a weird question that we were gonna.
Okay. So his question is, the fans need to know this. We need to know a gorilla versus a grizzly bear in a battle.
Is that a personal?
Who's coming out on top?
We've had that debate in the locker room for years.
I was about to say. I was like, that has to be something.
It's obviously the grizzly bear. I mean, they're
grizzly or a gorilla, dude.
Dude, a grizzly has 10 knives.
Yeah, they're also like twice the size. People don't even know that.
I'll go with grizzly. I'll go with the grizzly. Anything else, Drew? And then we'll ask a couple more and let them go.
How many shirts does Stephen Wayne have to buy for you to come back?
Oh, I think the shirts are being discontinued now.
Yeah, yeah, let's say.
Which sucks. But
that was pretty cool that y'all did that though, dude. So like my senior year, we did it because Pirate Radio, all of them helped with that. Yeah, I remember I did it with them too. So it was cool to kind of see that go. When you talk about the culture a lot and like guys before you and guys after, like how big of a role I don't even know how to word this. Like, does Coach Godwin really force like the older guys to, take in the younger guys, or is it more of a culture like this is just what was done to me, so I'm gonna do it to the younger guys?
Yeah, I mean, we have a leadership group.
Yeah,
but that's more like the baseball specific culture. I think just from older guys when I was a freshman, man, I was taking in open arms. Like,
yeah,
There's no hazing. There's no hierarchy with, the freshmen get bullied. That doesn't happen. So I think that's just something that we know that basically if I were to pick on a freshman and make his life hell, what's he going to do to the freshman when he's older?
Yeah.
So.
That's about it, Drew. I'm going to ask one more. Do you have anything else before I close it up?
Yeah. So you said the draft is in about a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what does your life look like for this next month? Like, I know for the NFL, there's like a big like combine. Like you talk to teams, work out with teams. Like, what does that look like for baseball? Like, what's your process right now?
There is a draft combine. There are workouts. I don't know if I'm going to any. That's up to really have to discuss that with my advisor and stuff like that. But really, I'm just gonna go home and enjoy being a kid before I have to be a grown up.
Please, dude. That is if I could
live
go
in my
back,
parents' house as long as I can.
dude. I was about to say if I could go back, like that's you didn't even realize like literally until it's gone. Because like even when you're in college, you're like, yeah, like it's gonna be so much better. I don't have school. I don't have this. And I'm not saying it's bad, but like even just professional sports, like it's professional at that point where like you're not guaranteed. You can get cut at any point. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the full X's and O's about baseball in that career, but like you're not always guaranteed a meal right here. You're not always guaranteed anything. And it's just so like enjoy the stability of just being young. I mean, I'm still young too. I'm acting like I'm 40, but like just enjoy the stability of being like in college still the little bit that you are and being able to go home because shoot, you go pro, dude, you don't know when you'll be able to go home.
No, yeah, literally. I mean,
like,
the baseball season is so long too.
Yeah, y'all's is
February
forever.
to October. I mean, there's
I was so I finished my football season, finished the bowl game. Like 3 weeks later, went to start training for pro day in Alabama. Came home for like a week. Went to Seattle. Cut back and forth a ton, so back here, and then played in the spring league. And literally, I've been in Greenville for 2 hours now. Like I haven't even seen my family yet, and like that's just how pro ball is. I'm sure it's even more for baseball. So yeah, dude, just enjoy it. But I just want to give you the platform right now for a second. Just if this was your last season at ECU baseball, to the fans, to anyone that matters to you, what would you like to say to them?
Just never change. Obviously, huge thank you, but never change because my life was changed here. Believe it or not, the community introduced me to Jesus at a higher level. I grew up in the church, but I never really had a relationship. Just the way that the community is really pushed me to grow my faith and ended up getting baptized on the field. Which
Let's go. That's legendary. One
of the best moments of my life.
Yeah. And, I mean, I couldn't imagine a better culture to set than around Jesus. So you're already starting good there, dude. Well, appreciate you joining. I know you're gonna be busy the next couple months, but we'll always be a fan. We'll always be cheering for you, dude, and appreciate it. That was an all-timer interview, boys, and that was brought to you by Anson Belt. Go to AnsonBelt.com for over 10,000 combinations of holeless micro-adjustable belts. Look, hey, I'm back in the studio. I'm back in North Carolina. I will be making a trip to Beaufort to see the Anson Belt setup. We're getting with David. We're gonna shoot some on-location stuff, so check out our Twitter at Holton Ahlers Show for more of that. Appreciate those guys. Like I said, AnsonBelt.com. Once you wear them, that's all you're ever going to wear. And now, Caden, you weren't with us for the interview. It's been a few weeks since I've been here as well, and welcome in, brother. Good to be back.
Yeah, I think how many weeks has it been? 3 episodes I've missed.
Yeah.
What have you guys talked about?
I don't know. You don't listen to the pod.
Just how much we missed you.
I'll be honest. I don't listen if I'm not on it.
Wow, hater. That's Drew. We didn't get to ask him, and I'm kind of mad we didn't about the transfer portal news. Obviously, some big names are entering the portal. With pitchers, with outfielders, and there's rumor that Bristol Carter's also going to enter. These are big names. I mean, Zach Root started, game 1? He was our Friday night starter in the regional, and now he's in the portal. Like, I wanted to ask him why were these guys entering the portal, but why do you think it is? Why do y'all think it is?
I wish you did ask. Why didn't you ask?
Yeah, we're rolling with questions. We literally were just rolling with questions, and I don't know. I just didn't get to it. I promised him 20 minutes, and I let him go.
I think it's the new era. People want to take advantage of NIL, maybe. Maybe it also is and this isn't talking ill, but maybe some people think, can ECU ever get over the hump? Can they? I don't know. It feels like we're every year it's the same story, and that might be part of it. It might be the mix of both. That hey, maybe if I go down the street to Raleigh or go down the street to Chapel Hill, I'll get some money, and hey, we'll make it past we'll make it to Omaha. Actually, that's just my take. I can get some hate for that, but
yeah, I might get some hate too. This is kind of reminiscent of what kind of happened with Kentucky with John Calipari. Obviously, like the team is in a great position every single year, but there's like a hump. Like Calipari, he was struggling in the round of not the round of 64, but the 64-man team like bracket, and you know they eventually parted ways. And I'm not saying we should part ways with Cliff Godwin, but it seems like we're kind of just stuck. Like we're better than what our playoff record is showing, but we just kind of get stuck, and I don't really know why.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I think baseball is just a weird sport because you can get beat by anyone at any time, which we saw in the regional. And, like, I don't think it's a knock on Coach Godwin. I think, you know, he is the guy for the job. But if you do look back, we had John Gilbert on a few 2 episodes ago, and he said if you look back, because we were asking about ECU basketball and winning there, and then we got to the chance of talking about making sure we keep Cliff Godwin. And he said, look, if you look back in the history of ECU baseball, every coach here has won. Now, Cliff Godwin has won more probably than most coaches, if not all coaches at ECU. And yes, I mean, we haven't made it to Omaha, but none of the other coaches here prior made it to Omaha either. So it's not like he's the first one that can't get over the hump. Like, it's been a thing at ECU that we can't do it. Now, why can't we do it? I don't know. We got the fans. We're getting the facilities. We got the talent. Like, seems like every year, I told Drew on the way over here, I was like, it seems like every year we're in, like, the same position where, like, we have the team to do it. Is this the year? And like, but it's been like that for 10 years now. And it's just like, dang, we're so close. When is it going to happen? And then baseball, I don't know, man. Baseball is a weird, like superstitious, cursed. Those words go out a lot in baseball rather than other sports, probably more than other sports. So like, do I think we're cursed? No, I think it's hard to do it clearly, but I do think Cliff Godwin's the guy for it. I've seen all the stuff on Twitter. The people saying he should be fired are lunatics. I mean, they're the same people probably that wanted Ruff fired, and that went really well. So,
are that many people saying that?
Yeah, I'm part of.
I've seen like 1 or 2. But
when we lost game 1, I'm part of a ECU Facebook thing. They were just dogging him. I'm like,
ECU.
What are y'all thinking? Like,
who are you gonna get here? We have someone. Think about it though. This day and age, say when Cliff Godwin, say you does his whole career here, say he finally moves to get the paycheck one day, maybe. I don't think he will. I think he'll stay for a while. But let's say after him, do we really think we get a coach at that caliber in the NIL era?
Well, I'll give you. So we just talked to JJC about it. I know you weren't part of the interview, and I asked him. Palumbo obviously is the huge assistant coach. Like, he is presumed to be the next guy here. I promise you right now that if Cliff Godwin ever, whatever AD thought they were stupid enough to fire Cliff Godwin, if he ever got fired from ECU, Palumbo would not be the next guy. He wouldn't do that to Cliff Godwin. Just like Lincoln Riley was not the next guy when Ruff got fired. It's the same exact thing. They fired Ruff, and people thought, if he takes the paycheck, that's a different story. Palumbo probably will be the next guy here. If for some reason Cliff Godwin ever got fired from ECU, Palumbo's not the next guy here. If Cliff Godwin takes a paycheck, goes somewhere else, Palumbo's the next guy.
Yeah, I don't think that's worried. I think going back to the whole where we get over the hump, baseball, like you said, probably the hardest sport to win a championship in anything. Like if you look at the Dynasties, did we talk about that, or do I hear that on another podcast?
Maybe on another podcast, but I actually have a hot take on this. I think it's the hardest to win, but it also might be the easiest to win because, like, you don't got to be in football, you got to be one of the 12 teams now to make it. Mm-hmm. In basketball, you can make a run at it. Basketball's probably another conversation, kind of right up there with it. But in baseball, like, Evansville's in the final 16 now. I mean, see what I'm saying? Like, it's very, very hard to do it when you're like an elite program, but it's also easier for an underdog to make it, if that makes sense.
I know where I heard this from, and Drew, come in a second. I was in Atlanta listening to the talk show radio in downtown Atlanta. This is what they were talking about. Football, like if we can think of NCAA, we can think of NFL. Then we can think about NBA. And then think about, is there another main sport I'm missing? MLB, right? Think of that. Patriots were a dynasty. Kansas City's a dynasty now. Is there any other super teams or dynasty teams in football I'm missing?
You miss Warriors in basketball.
All right, Warriors in basketball. We had LeBron for a while when LeBron won his tours. Who in the MLB, besides the Astros, but they only won, they didn't win any back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Baseball is the hardest sport to go back. And I know we're talking about majors now, but then you look at football. I mean, Bama's ran it, dynasty. And
college is a different beast from pros.
College is a different beast as well, but college football, we kind of know who's going to make it at the end every year. The past decade, have we not? Get a good idea. College baseball, I don't think you have that, or even baseball in general. College basketball as well. You have your couple teams, but I don't think. I think what I'm getting back to is how hard it is in baseball to consistently win and become a champion.
Yeah, I would still argue that college basketball is probably the hardest college championship because you get one shot. Baseball, you can lose and you get another try at it. So my argument is always if you got one shot, it's harder, especially form a dynasty. Because I would say for about 8 years, the Patriots were probably the best team in the league every year. But you just can't win the Super Bowl every year because you got to beat 4 or 5 teams in a row that are so good. But in basketball, you can kind of string along 3-4 championships in a row if you keep the same core, because the team has to beat you 4 times in a row. I don't think nobody could have beat the Patriots 4 times in a row, but that's just not the dynamic of what their playoffs is compared to basketball. So I think college basketball is just a little bit harder because you get one shot.
Yeah.
Baseball,
The thing is, I think
I hope we didn't lose anyone there. The whole point of it was saying how hard it is to win in
baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is with these other sports is you can get on the back of a player. Speaking of back, let's talk about Worth Chiropractic. That was sounding kind of smooth there, boys. Call 1-800-BACK-DOC today to get I think they're still running the $29 special at the new location on Arlington Boulevard. So go check out that at 1-800-BACK-DOC. They'll get you all set up. Look, that location is awesome. We've been over there. We're going to post it on our Twitter here soon. So make sure you go check out those guys. We appreciate it. But they kept me on the field. They're going to keep you working, feeling good. Shout out to Worth Chiropractic for supporting the show. Let's get back to it, I guess. You have any more comments on that?
Yeah. When you think of the last few years, where do you think that ECU has the hardest challenges when you get to these regionals? Where's the biggest gap when we play these teams? Bullpen.
Oh, yeah.
It's always the bullpen. This year, what was it? Our bullpen, how they say peak at the right time? What's the opposite of peak? De-peak? I don't know what that. Decline? That's what we were. We weren't peaking at the right moment. We kind of declined at the wrong moment. So I think that's the biggest gap I've seen in the last few years is bullpen. Those rotation, when you get deep into these series, it's just we don't have the arms ever.
My question is though, does Evansville, we just lost to Evansville. We didn't lose to Wake Forest.
Evansville, no. Obviously, they don't have the arms we have, even comparable.
Yeah.
But they had run support. They showed up in the batter's box when you need to. And that's part of it. If you're not going to have the arms, you got to have the run support. And one thing is, what's more consistent? Arms are more consistent than the batter's box usually.
100%.
So.
Drew, you got any other topics on that or any other thoughts on that before we move on?
No, I'm good. We've talked a lot of baseball.
Let's move over to basketball. It's NBA Finals week. Mavs versus Boston. I wanted to say the Knicks so bad right there. Mavs versus Boston. Boston is a huge favorite in this. Are we feeling good about it, Drew? We're going to start with you because we're the NBA guys in this pod. So how are you feeling about it? What are your predictions?
All right. I know we haven't really talked about betting a lot, but there's something I feel really confident about. I want the people to know. Watch this as soon as it drops. Boston -6. I feel really confident about it. Game 1. Boston is averaging beating teams by 17 in Game 1, and the Mavericks are averaging losing by 10 in Game 1, and it's in Boston. So I think it's a pretty good recipe for Boston to run away with Game 1. Now, I'm not saying that they'll win the series just off Game 1 because they typically struggle in Game 2. But so far, Boston has been great in Game 1. Just want to throw that out there.
Well, the storyline, I think, is Kyrie going back to Boston and that relationship with those fans. Obviously, he didn't have a great setting there. He didn't have a great relationship with that team. So it's going to be a lot of hostility. Kristaps played for the Mavs, and now he's back Game 1, so that's a huge story. I think this story, and look, we said it when the playoffs started, that the West, whatever stars showed up in the West at the right times, we're going to take them to the finals. And the stars that showed up were Luka and Kyrie, and then their support cast has played amazing. I mean, Lively shot 16 for 16 in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, as a rookie, that's unheard of. As anyone, that's unheard of, especially as a rookie, though. I mean, he's going out there and balling. So I think it's going to be close. I think I could see Mavs winning in 7, or it's either going to be Mavs in 7, a long series, or like Celtics in 5. It's not going to be a long. Celtics aren't going to win late. If the series goes late, it's going to go to the Mavs, I think.
I agree.
They have the better closers. Look, Tatum, if you want to be the face of the league, because there's some guys hunting him down quick, him and Luka. Like, this could be their time to kind of take over the league. Because, look, Joker's there. You got Wembyana. You got the guys for the Knicks, obviously, with Brunson and those guys. You got a lot of young guys who are up and coming, who are trying to take that face of the league role with LeBron and Steph getting old. So I think whoever wins this game has a chance to be the face of the league. You also got Anthony Edwards in the West. Like, there's dudes that are ready to take over that role, and I think they have the first crack at it since they're in the finals.
I will say, Drew, you guys know I don't follow the NBA, and maybe I'll watch it because it's the finals. But I'm gonna have to fact check your stats there. I'm pretty sure I trust you, but if you're right on that, I'm just itching for that stat line.
I'm back in NC now. I can bet. Drew, hot take though.
That's a dirty pick.
I don't love the Celtics -6. I think I would take the Mavs. I think I'd take the Mavs +6. We're gonna have to see how that goes.
Look, I'll just say Boston's not a fun place to play. They hate Kyrie. They're definitely gonna hate Luka, and they love their guys. It's hard to win in Boston, and they've came out in Game 1 and they've crushed guys. So
I don't know. I'm a Dallas guy now.
Well,
I'm a homie.
One thing is, me and Drew are statistical bettors, and you are an emotional bettor.
Now I'm back in NC. We're going to get back to this 10 to 10,000 thing, and we're going to see who the best bettor is in this podcast. How about
So
that?
if you're a statistical bettor, you're probably going to win. But if we want to talk about betting for a second, do we want to?
Yeah, go for it. Shoot for it.
So I've been, you guys know, I follow 3 main things: MLB, college football, and college basketball. That's my thing. So right now it's MLB. It's going to get us to college football season. I'll drop baseball when you get there. But I'm kind of like, how can I hunt, play? Like, people want to win consistently, or at least win more, win more than you lose. So I was on Instagram, and I was scrolling through Reels the other day, and I wish I could give the guy credit, but he was like, I got something where we win probably more than half the time, and so far I've won more than half the time, and it's kind of nice.
Get to it.
Well, I'm getting to it. I had to build the story up. So what it is you're looking for a good starting pitcher for both teams usually. 2 solid pitchers. You don't have to be great, but 2 solid pitchers and a decent bullpen that gives up not many home runs. And you match that up with the 6th, 7th, and 8th hole batters. And you parlay no home runs on the 6th, 7th, and 8th hole batters. And you can do it. What I've done was 3-leggers. So sometimes, depending on the odds, the 3-leggers can go down to like -170s, -150s sometimes, just depending on who's playing. But it just depends on the odds. Sometimes you have to go all the way down to 6. But I've hit a few of these already, guys. And I've lost a few. I will be completely fair, but I've won more than I lost.
feed the community, man.
So, again, this is what it is. 2 solid pitchers, solid bullpens. Don't have to be great, just solid. And then you're looking for the 6th, 7th, and 8th hole batters on both teams. Parlay those anywhere from 3 to 6 legs. You're going to win more than you lose.
I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I'm not a baseball guy. I am a baseball guy. I don't like betting on baseball though. But I'm a little intrigued. I might have to test out that theory.
So you don't have to track the whole game. I've literally have been like watching like who's up to bat. We get to my guys. I watch 3 to 6, 7, 8 hole.
So you want that boring he wants that boring style of baseball. I'd rather go bet the home runs and let the boys hit homers.
Well, the thing
Emotional better.
The emotional better. If you want the exciting, you got to bet the nerfies. No run first innings. You watch 1 inning, anyone scores.
True.
That's
Little
the exciting
Dave
part.
Portnoy, betting technique.
But don't
there.
bet nerfies. I like this. I don't know what we should call it. I don't know if there is a name to it, but the no run parlay. It's been
no
pretty
run
good.
or no home run.
No home run. No home run.
No home run. You have to show me how to do that when I
It's
got to get used to my app now
Yeah.
that I'm back in NC and it's legal.
So it's only I've seen so far. I like to bet on the FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel doesn't give you that option. You can only bet home runs on FanDuel. On ESPN Bets, it gives you an option. Yes, or no home run.
Okay,
So.
we'll have to check it out. We'll have to we'll go back to you on that. When you start tweeting out our bets again, now that the boys are back, we need to get on that, and we will. Drew, we're kind of emotional. This is your last time for a little bit in studio with us producing. It kind of explain your next steps and what you're going to do.
Yeah, so I'm going to Catawba Sunday. Going to pursue my master's degree. I'm going to start summer training, like getting familiar with the city, getting familiar with the playbook, the coaches, all that. And then just prepare to have a great fall camp and then attack the season the best that I can and try to do great things for the Catawba football program.
Let's go. Getting his master's paid for. Came in as a walk-on, grinded, and now he's getting his master's paid for. So
Yes, sir.
Hats off, Cam. What were you going to say?
What city is that in?
It's in Salisbury, like right outside of Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you going to play? Safety, corner?
Safety.
Back to his natural position.
sir.
Let's go.
Where do you see yourself at safety? Are you a headhunter or are you a coverage guy? I know you're a coverage guy, but what would you classify yourself?
I'm definitely a coverage guy, but I mean, I hit.
He'll hit too. Let's
What do
go.
you say, Holt?
But he's still,
You saw me
I'd
on
say the same
scout team
thing.
all
Yeah.
the time.
No, I've said it multiple times. Drew was the best scout team defense player
I
we
agree.
played against. You're still going to be on the show, though. You're not going to be producing in-house. So we're actually looking for, if anyone watching is interested in an internship with Pirate Radio / us to be our producer kind of for the summer, and we're looking for a long-term while Drew is out, because Drew's still going to be part of the show, but our producer needs to be in the studio, so we're looking at that. Super simple. But if you want to be part of the show and kind of meet the guys and, producer, we've told Drew many times he's the most important guy on the show. The show doesn't go on without Drew. So we need someone to try to not replace Drew, but replace his producing skills for now as he goes on. But he's still going to be on the show, so you can be playing college football and still on the show.
Kind of like the offensive line of the Holton Ahlers Show.
Yeah,
Get no
that's what it
credit.
is.
But
It's like a
you're-
walk-on.
You're important.
It's like a walk-on.
No
If
credit,
you want
but
to
you're
walk
important.
on the Holton Ahlers Show as the producer, reach out to us. We're not going to say we're going to interview you because maybe only one person's going to reach out. So if you want to do it, we'll teach you how to do it.
Walk-on tryouts are open.
Let's and then if you if you're interested, we might even pop you in one of these chairs one day and let you chat with the boys on the show. But speaking of chatting, how the boys feeling about Caitlin Clark? Is she getting? Is it unfair right now? What's going on? Pat McAfee thinks that has a little bit to do with race and all of that. Drew, we're gonna get your opinion on that. Drew, what do you think about that? Since you are 25%, you're mixed. You're 25% African American, correct, and 75% white.
Yeah.
All right, so what is your opinion? So this is complete non-biased. What is your opinion? Is the Caitlin Clark
non-biased.
stuff racist, or is it just...
Coming from somebody that is white and black, it might be a little 25% racist. I don't know. But, I also think of it a lot as just a rookie coming in, getting a lot of the limelight. Because let's be real, she's not the best player in the league right now, but she gets the most credit. And I think that rubs people the wrong way. And then on top of that, she's a rookie. And I've seen a lot of clips of WNBA rookies just getting hammered.
Bodied.
Yeah, so, Caitlin Clark there's so many things just piled on top of her situation that just people don't like her.
Yeah, I think...
Not don't like her, but players.
Yeah, I think whether it's racist or not is out of my... I'm not even going to talk about that. I think it's just more of, jealousy almost. These players are... I just think, people... The amount of attention, like you said, that she's gotten. Every arena she goes into. Look, Dallas has a WNBA team, and they sold out those tickets. I was trying to go to the game, just like everyone, it seemed like, in Dallas was. Those tickets sold out immediately. They were promoting her. It was almost like a home game for her. And everywhere she goes is like that. And it's yeah, it is easy to probably be jealous of that, but just look at how much she is helping the game. They were flying on normal planes last year with a civilian. If you were on a plane from Dallas to Indiana on a random spring/summer night, there's a chance you were going to be on there with Indiana Fever. And now they got their own private plane, so they need to be thanking the girl. Obviously, look, there's going to be a learning curve. She's not going to kill it right away, but she's a once-in-a-lifetime talent so far for the WNBA. The ratings are up, the revenue's up, the ticket sales are up. She is literally the face of the WNBA, and yes, it's easy to be jealous of that, I guess, if you're playing against her. But just appreciate that this girl is literally changing the sport, getting you more money. Why would you not?
Yeah. I think it's jealousy. It stems from it. And it might be jealousy. I don't like to say there's jealousy in the right way, because it's probably not jealousy in the right way, but think about it. If you were one of those players, and if you go back and watch highlights or watch these girls in college, they're probably great too. Not as starstruck as Caitlin Clark was, her college career, but there's probably some really good college girls and WNBA girls now, and they're like, hey, like, I played good too. Like, I was good too. And I think the big thing is, hey, not everyone can be the Tom Brady, the Michael Jordan of their sport. She is. It's a once in a lifetime talent. So I think that stems from a lot of jealousy. But if you look at, like, attendance records from last year, like 2023, Indiana Fever ranked second to last in home game attendance. They had an average of 4,000 people attending their home games. 2024, their first, shocker, 16,000 people on average attend their home games. People want to see Caitlin Clark, and she's growing the game. And once she grows the game, and people see, hey, maybe there's like blah 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 who's great. I can't even name another WNBA player. That's not off. I just don't watch it. I don't even watch guys basketball. But it's like, hey, you grow the game, then I find out, hey, who this player is. This player, I want to follow them now.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. You can't happen overnight. But you can see it's a one-person effect right now.
Yeah, and that's my thing is, like, she is growing the game to, like, even if you're playing against her, all of that of us athletes know you want to play in front of big crowds. You want to play. Look, if you make more money, you want to make more money. This girl is doing that for you, and it is not a good look that you guys are sitting here treating her the way that you are. Whether the hip check randomly and calling her whatever you want to call her, like, that's just not it. Look, the most eyes that have ever been on women's basketball are right now, and it's because of Caitlin Clark. You want to leave a good impression on these fans because you want them to come back, because if they come back, that means more money's involved. Everything is just, you want to leave a good impression, and this is the year to do it. We talked about it last week. The WNBA, like, you want to leave an impression and you want to last and be eventually getting paid as much as the NBA, like, you got to kill it this year.
She can't play forever.
Yeah, you got to capitalize on this 1 year, because look, if this year doesn't go good, even her hype train falls off, because people already, hate to say it, would rather watch the NBA. Duh, that's why there's more money. That's why the ratings are higher. That's why the ticket, everything's higher. But while the chance for you to do all of that and to raise all that is laying on one girl, and you ain't treating her the right way, and you're doing that, I mean, that's a ballsy move right there.
I will say, though, I'm going to play devil's advocate real fast. I kind of like the Heat.
Oh, I do too.
I kind of like it's drawing me in, because I don't even watch normal NBA, and normal NBA, I think, I kind of like the 90s style of ball when they used to, like, hit each other, like tough ball. They're kind of doing that right now in the WNBA, and I'm kind of for it, and I might turn a couple games on. Am I going to turn on maybe some random game of Phoenix versus Dallas? Probably not. Right yet. I'll say right yet. But I will watch Caitlin Clark, whoever she's playing against, and maybe the girl she's playing against, like the other night, for some random team, is playing tough, nitty, gritty, dirty. I might start watching them. So.
And I'm not saying I did seem a little soft there, but look, people are turning on the TV right now to see Caitlin Clark jack threes from the logo. They're not turning on the WNBA to see aggressive style of basketball. Now, would it be positive if there's a mixture of both? I'm all for it. But I'm just saying, like, you hip checking her 92 feet away from 3-point line, like, there's no reason for that. Like, look, if it's the playoffs, like, if people are tuned in, you're like, all right, let's go. Like, she's trying to make a difference. But, like, she's averaging like 17 points a game right now. Like, the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark to average like 30 to keep people around.
Did you see the other night? I can't even tell you what team it is, but the girl or the woman was shooting free throws. She hit her first free throw, and then she ran. She had two shots as her first shot.
And then ran to Caitlin Clark?
Yes. Like, she's in everyone's head, which is great for her. And it's great for the business, I think.
I love it. We shall see.
Hot topic. Every hero needs a villain, man.
And I'm for it.
She needs the villains.
I'm for the villain. I'm just saying, you got to let her get to the. She already kind of is the hero, but she has to get to, like, hooping again, though. Like,
I think
you know
she
what I mean?
is the hero right now.
Yeah, she's definitely the hero. I'm just Drew's saying, like, there needs to be a negative. I love it. Really, what the WNBA needs is the Fever to win. If the Fever win, then there is these heel teams, these villain teams that come and, like, create rivalries. That's what you need.
And
Fever aren't winning right now because they're terrible.
And I think a lot of the jealousy might stem from her lack of success.
Yeah.
And she's still, like, the top of everything.
Yeah.
And she's not successful.
I see it. I mean, yeah, the Fever.
So
you got to realize, people got to realize the Fever had the number one overall pick. I'm sure because they were terrible. And they look terrible other than her. And she doesn't look as good as she did in college, first of all, because she's playing way better talent. And second of all, because her team's way worse.
This might be controversial, but just to boost viewership up too. And we got Caitlin Clark who can shoot deep as shit, right? Put a 5-point line in and let them shoot 5. I might be into that.
Turns into the circus.
5-point line. I'm not, and people might think that's controversial, but to make it a little bit more exciting, because you're not getting the yams, you're not getting.
Yeah.
So how else could you make it?
Give the WNBA element that the NBA
Yes,
does.
exactly. That
for
separates
that. Yeah.
themselves. Yes, exactly.
I'm for it. I mean, I'm for something. That's why I know people are going to ask and have tweeted, like, asking about my UFL experience. That's why I really enjoyed the UFL, because it feels like everything is like they're up for anything. They're up for learning. They're really in it and know that they can't last without TV viewership. And, like, that's why instead of an onside kick, there's a 4th and 12 if you get the ball. Like, that's why instead of kicking PATs, you go for 2, 3, or you go for 1, 2, or 3. Like, that's fun football to watch. It's a fun brand of football. Even, I mean, shoot, I was watching it on the sideline this year, boys. I wasn't even playing, and I enjoyed watching it from the sidelines because, like, there's no boring point. Kickoffs, they make kickoffs where you have to return them. You get penalized if you kick them in the end zone. That's fun to watch. There's no PATs, and there's no onside kicks. Those are like the 3 boringest parts of football, and they took them away. So, I mean, that's why I enjoyed that, and I could see kind of the WNBA if the commissioner comes in and says, let's not compete with the NBA, because that's never going to happen. Why don't we make another brand that's kind of like it, but just a little more entertaining, because the talent level is not the same.
Yeah. And, like, it's really a different game at the same time, too. I mean, yeah, they're playing basketball, but, I mean, it's no secret, like, boys and girls are very different from each other. So, like, it's almost a different game. So why not just add, like, different elements that can
5-point line.
Yeah, like a 4 or 5-point line, or like maybe a 4-point line and like a 5-point spot.
Yeah.
Or something like that just, like, you know, highlights what they're great at, because there's a lot of great shooters in the WNBA outside of Caitlin Clark.
No, I agree. Yeah, we'll have to see. That was a good one. I want to give a shout out to Wayne Hardy Law. Call 1-800-INJURED if you've been in a car accident or injured. If you need a lawyer and need a great team that treats you like family, Big Wayne and his team are definitely the people to call. Anywhere around Greenville, they will get you right. And shout out to Big Wayne and his team. Also, shout out to Matamesquite Goose Club. Look, I'm not wearing any of their stuff tonight. I'll probably wear it next episode. But just a great Southern brand. You know, they got camo stuff. They got hunting stuff, and they got everything in between. Classy, hunting, everything in between. My wallet's with them. They got sick wallets, sick belts, sick hats. So go check them out, Matamesquite Goose Club. Boys, before we end the show, when baseball ends, especially college baseball, it kind of shifts to football season in a way. And I know we still got basketball going on, and we're going to talk plenty of football, and we're not going to dive too deep into it right now, but they are starting summer conditioning and their summer workouts. And we talked about it prior. We talked about the quarterback battle and how important it is this summer for one of those guys to take the lead, and how hard it will be when they're both still technically competing. How are we feeling about, is there any stories you want to talk about, or how do you feel about, the quarterback competition when there's not a set guy yet? So they're both going to have to split everything. It's going to be, I'll tell you where it's going to be weird, and I've talked about it before, is like when you're trying to get the receivers to go out there and throw, if you're a good teammate, for one, you get all the quarterbacks out there, but then it's like, okay, who's taking the lead out there? Mm-hmm. Because at some point, someone's going to have to. And at some point, the players will know before the coaches ever tell them who the starter is, in my opinion.
I agree.
In any quarterback battle, you'll be able to know at least who should be. Now, if there's politics involved, which I know there's not over there right now, like there was when I was there, shout out to local politics.
There's local politics, bud.
But the players will know who the guy is before it's ever announced, before the coach ever tells them, just based off who won it during camp, who won it this summer. The first step is leadership and leading in the right direction, and that starts this summer. Spring was just like, all right, let's just see if one just takes it over, and clearly neither of them did, which is a good thing, I think, in my opinion. But now it's, okay, let's see the leadership part. That's step one. Who can win in conditioning? Who can get the guys out there when they're not when they're not set to be out there? Who can get the receivers to go out there and catch? Who are staying after? Who's having the linemen over for dinner? Who's going to have beers with the guys? And I'm not saying I'm saying it's a good thing, because look, you need to also decompress. It's not always football. And I had a problem with that kind of early in my career was like
A beer problem?
no, was just like always wanting to only be about football and never. Caden, you know this. I mean, I didn't even go out or drink or anything until like going into my sophomore year, and then I finally built better relationships because I was like, you know what? Let's go have a beer. Let's go watch a baseball game and hang out. So what are y'all?
I will take credit for being a bad influence in your life. So.
What are y'all's thoughts heading into the summer? What are the big storylines other than, I mean, obviously, if you got any takes on the quarterback too?
I think it comes down to the quarterback battle. I think you agree. The guys will know before the coaches know, you will know before it's declared, basically. Like, everyone knows who the leader is. Everyone knows who the guy just is. You're the guy. Can you sling the ball? Can you hit that 20-yard out? Can you hit that post route? Like, the guys are going to know. My biggest question, though, when you think of the quarterback battle, let's say hypotheticals. I know no one likes to do hypotheticals sometimes, but hypothetical. Let's say quarterback struggles in the beginning, or they just start the year slow. Because sometimes it's like that. Pitchers start the year slow, or some people start the year hot. What kind of leash do you give? Because last year what they did to Mason, I don't know if that's
not give him a week.
You don't pull him
series
first.
leash.
Yeah, you don't pull him first or second series. So I'm curious, what kind of leash do you give when it's a closer and tighter battle?
Well, obviously I play defense, so it's a little different with those positions. But I'd say unless it's just absolutely abysmal, I'd say like 3 weeks if he's like playing bad.
Let's also not act like our schedule isn't booty cheeks this year. Look, our non-conference, we do play App, we do play Liberty, but like you're not playing Michigan. App's been falling off lately. Who knows what Liberty's a year-to-year thing with the portal now. So like, I think whoever you pick, unless you say, look, we're going to rotate, which if we got two dudes, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't mind rotating early with the offense that we have. Like, this offense is going to be very streaky. That's just how these up-tempo offenses are. When Tennessee a couple years ago was running the same offense and was top, I think they were number 1 in the nation actually for a little bit. Like, they were just hitting strides at the right time, the quarterback. But now, I'm not for a 2-quarterback system. If one's doing bad, you pull them out. Like, there was plenty of times when I probably could have been pulled in my career and Houston stuck with me and it paid off for him down the road. But, like,
I was warming up, too.
Yeah, Caden was ready to roll, ready to take my spot. But, yeah, I mean, I think you going into it as a fan and as a coach and really as a player, you hope that one guy just takes over and wins it clearly. But we'll have to see. I mean, do you want to see 2 guys playing quarterback next year? No. Best case scenario is a guy wins it, takes it for a couple years.
How many years do they? How much?
Caden's only a sophomore, and Garcia, I believe, has I think has 2 years left.
Oh wow! I was curious about Garcia. Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see who this guard is going to be named. I hope it's a true battle. I really do.
Seems like it is so far.
Yeah. One thing, football update. Did you guys see that the bill, I forgot the House bill number, I just had it on the tip of my tongue, that forces UNC and NC State to play Carolina.
Good. They can't run.
So it goes into committee discussion first, right? Before it's able to get voted on by the House and everything. It passed in less than 2 minutes with no discussion. Usually people discuss, have their discussions. Nope. They said, let's do it. We're moving it forward in less than 2 minutes. Doesn't happen often. That happens. So
don't let them run. Can't run no more. Why wouldn't you do it? It's good for the community. It's good for the economy. Like, why would you not do it?
And it's great for the state. Exactly. It's good for the economy. The money stays in. These teams travel. Like Charlotte, App, ECU, they're all 3 going to travel to those stadiums. And those guys are going to travel to those stadiums as well. What I hate seeing on Twitter is state fans.
Oh, yeah.
State fans have to be probably the worst fans on all Twitter. They might be worse than UNC fans.
No, Carolina fans.
I don't know who's honestly worse.
Carolina's bad.
They're both like crybabies. Did you see all these state fans are like, this doesn't benefit us. I'd rather play La Tech. They would rather play La Tech.
Because they know they're going to lose. That's literally the only reason why they don't.
They're like this is a non-benefit factor for us, and it's
delusion.
It's delusion, or I guess
scared
fear.
Narcissism.
I think it's fear. I think it's fear of App State and ECU.
Yeah.
Charlotte, I don't know about them if they're really scared of Charlotte. I think ECU
beat us. We need to be scared of them.
Not this year.
No, I'm not saying we actually do need to be scared of them, but we can't lose them again. That was very embarrassing, and we've talked about that. Boys, that's Good episode. First one back in the studio, Caden. Welcome back, brother. It was good to be in the studio with the boys. Drew, no one's going to be able to produce like you produce, but hopefully we get an intern in here that can at least produce, not be on the show. But you're going to keep being on the show. Go kill it. We're going to have to get some. We're going to have to get up to Salisbury to watch the boys play.
Oh yeah, maybe a little film breakdown on the pod.
Let's go. Yeah, there's some chats in place to get that going. Some X's and O's with the boys on the Holton Ahlers Show. So episode 21. Thank you to the sponsors. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to JJC for announcing what he was going to do. So it was big for the show. So see you next time.